I'm Vicki Hoth, Education Coordinator for Handy Quilter. I'm here at American Patchwork and Quilting Crafts Lab. And I want to tell you, it's all about filling it. Filling it or feeling it? No, it's filling it. I want to talk about how to fill your quilt with lots of quilting, but give it definition. So let's see what I mean by that. So I've got a motif here. You know, you can kind of pick everything out, but I want to show you the difference when I fill it with micro quilting. Do you see what this nice motif is really standing out, that negative space? I've filled it with all different types of micro quilting, allowing the motif to stand out and be noticed. Now, micro quilting takes time, and you're not going to go anywhere fast, but it's beautiful. It really adds to a quilt. And this quilt behind me, the feathers in each one of these petals, we've defined the petal with a channel and then the beautiful feathers, and we left them a little smaller so that we can put the micro quilting around here. It really makes those feathers pop, and that's what micro quilting can do. It can give something that's larger quilt, you know, the design, really make it pop. And all around here, every one of those pop because of that micro quilting laying it down. Now, what type of designs are there that are micro quilting to start with? So first of all, anything you quilt large, you can really quilt small. You can make it small and just really lay down the fabric and then let something here really stand up like those feathers. So let's get ourselves set up so that we can have a successful time micro quilting. One of the first things I need is I need a stool, something that can bring me up closer as I sit down, because you're not going to go anywhere fast. Micro quilting is small. You're going to stay in one spot, but you want to be close to your work. The other thing is I want an open toe foot, because I want to be able to see what's happening right at the needle, right there. So I don't want something to obstruct my view. And then the next thing is I want to set up my machine. I really like to have my machine running in a manual mode. So what that means is manual is stitches per minute. So I just turn it on and it's going to run, not in stitch regulation. And I want it at about a medium speed so that it doesn't stitch too fast, but not too slow either. I'm going to keep my stitches really short because I'm doing micro quilting, small quilting. Okay, so I could do this in stitch regulation, but I like it in manual mode. So I'm going to sit on my stool. Oh, one more thing is my machine allows me to adjust my handles so that I can have them down close to where I'm working, and I have more control of my quilting. So I'm going to go ahead and sit down on my stool, and we're going to bring up our bobbin thread. Now there's all different types of micro quilting. You know, you could do pebbles, you could do stippling, straight lines even is micro quilting, but you've got to decide what is comfortable for you. And remember, what you can quilt large, you can quilt small. And this is really small. Now that's a stipple. And that's a nice speed because I'm really in control. Now, because it's the movement of my machine, I'm not moving it too fast, because if I moved it too fast, my stitches would be too long. I'm leaving them so that they're nice and rounded. Let's do some pebbles. Circle, circle. And the nice thing about micro quilting is if I want to come back over here, I can retrace right over the top of that. The one thing I really like about doing pebbles is that I will add a curl in the middle of it, come back out, and then pebble around it. Now I could do some long looking pebbles But like I say, you're not going to go anywhere real fast. So sitting on a stool and resting, I'm actually resting my arms on the poles, and so that gives me more stability. Think of all the different types of micro quilting you could do. Now I'm going to leave, kind of create a channel right there, and that area right there is not going to be quilted. So what I would do, or I could just do some type of stippling, or any type of micro quilting around that. And that channel is really going to pop because I filled everything around it. And so anytime you want something to really be the main event, then leave it open and then really, really quilt. We call that quilt to death, everything around it. And then as we come over here, you can see how that little channel that I created there really pops. Practice. This really takes a lot of practice. These are the quilts that you're going to spend some time sitting and just put on some good music, enjoy the process. I've changed my thread color to a little darker thread. Sometimes you want the matching thread color with the fabric, but sometimes you want to add just a little darker thread to just make it pop. So let's do some quilting. We'll start out with some pebbles, and then we'll move into some other designs that are really fun. And I've actually sped up my machine. So the thing about pebbles are you can do small ones, you can add a large one. So that's my negative space. I could even put a curl in it. Small ones around that. And if I have to get back to an area to get where I need to go, I just circle around a couple of times. I'm going to come back over here. Now let's change let's add a little curl right there. Okay, now let's add a spiral around that. Every once in a while you could just add a spiral with your pebbles. Okay, let's do a different design. It's kind of a swirl, but it's just maybe a little paisley effect. So watch this. Small, remember, small. So make the paisley or that little loop. I can go around it a second time, make another one, go around it. The thing about this one is you want to be able to do it in every direction. So I've done it facing up, and now I've done it facing down. I want to change directions, go to the side. This is such a pretty design as a fill. And you can make those spaces a little bigger to give it a little negative space. So it gives it different texture feels. How fun that is. Now I want to go all the way back over here. So I actually added another loop over the top of it. So that's a travel path, so that when you want to change directions or get to some other place, you can echo around it. And look at the different directions I'm going, up and down, around, left to right. Let's go this direction. Okay, I think it's time to change to another design. I call this my wild hair day. This could be really small, or you could make them larger. You'd get done a lot faster if you went larger, but it gives it a whole different look. Does this look like a wild hair day? A windy day. But it can be filled, it can really fill something and make it really Beautiful with that different texture. Like I say, you could do it small. Now, if this is too hard, you can actually use just loops. Just loop around, and that could be your fill. Just practice using your manual mode in your quilting machine and just do loops really close together. See how nice that fills that up? And it's really easy. Practice making them maybe long, and then practice really round ones. And then add a little circle into your round ones. See the difference that makes? And if you goof up, it's really small, nobody's gonna notice. Now, we're gonna travel over here. I wanna show you one that, you know when you do stipple, they say don't cross the lines, but there's sometimes that you're scribbling. You wanna just scribble. You just wanna scribble because you want to lay that down. And so when you scribble like this, it just puts a lot of thread in an area, lays that fabric down so that whatever's around it, like if there was a feather around it, that feather would really stand up. So if I did a feather around this, and those are really long stitches, so just because I went a little fast, but if I took this scribbling now and just scribbled all over around this feather, that feather is going to be the main event. It's going to stand up and give me some emphasis on that like a trapunto. So do you see how? And if I wanted to do circles around it, it would do the same thing. You just really want to fill it up. Oh, it's been 20 minutes, hasn't it? Yes, 20 minutes. Stretch those eyes, stretch the body, keep yourself limber, and have fun filling it.